So, this is going to be a straight up rant. If you haven't watched Dragon Ball Daima, be warned, spoilers ahead. Dragon Ball Daima episode 20 aired on the anniversary of Akira Toriyama's death. Akira Toriyama was an absolute legend, and his death hit me pretty hard last year. I've been working on a tribute piece ever since and just haven't finished it yet. But with the knowledge that Dragon Ball Daima was going to be the last story that Akira Toriyama contributed to, I was pretty hyped for it. And the first half of the show was pretty solid, I have to say. But man, the second half of the show dropped the ball. Pun intended. I'm taking a drink. But to explain why the ball was dropped, we have to talk about a few things that were established and foreshadowed in the first half of the show, and how not paying those things off created an anticlimax. Number 1, the fusion bugs. Early on, Son Goku and Kaioshin stop in at a shop and purchase a bunch of magical bugs. Some heal you, some make your skin look 10 years younger, and some allow two people to fuse. We were all excited to see who the new fusion was going to be. Was it going to be Goku and Vegeta? Again? Was it going to be Majin Buu and Do, which would obviously be called Majin Dookie? Okay, probably Dooku, but you know Akira Toriyama would be chomping at the bit to make another poop joke. Number 2, Life Force as a currency. Early on, Goku stops a bunch of Goma's soldiers from stealing the Life Force as a form of tax from a bunch of Demon Realm citizens. It's shown that if citizens of the Demon Realm can't pay their tax, they have to pay in the form of years off their life, and this ages the citizens in question up. Now, what was the primary problem in Dragon Ball Daima? Anyone? What was the problem? Oh yeah, Goku and friends were all turned into kids. So you say there's this magical technology in the demon realm that basically ages you up? Totally Not Mark put out this incredible video where he talked about where he thought the story was going, and seriously, I would have preferred his version of Daima to what we got. His basic idea was that this magical tech, or magi tech if you will, could have been used to age Goku and friends up, and that we could have gotten a story that featured Goku as a kid, teen, and an old man. That isn't what happens, so it turns out that this magi tech was something of a misdirect. Number 3, Piccolo. Piccolo was completely fucking useless in this story. For Akira Toriyama's favorite character, he sure does get the shaft a lot, doesn't he? Piccolo could have done a hell of a lot more if the writers knew what they were doing, or if the show was paced better in its latter half. Number 4, Super Saiyan 4. This is the big one. Now, I've never been the biggest fan of Super Saiyan 4. I always thought it wasn't really a Super Saiyan form due to the lack of gold hair. But I could have easily seen it working as a new base form that Goku and company could then stack Super Saiyan forms on top of. And I may or may not have created a tabletop RPG where that was the case, which is now being reworked into an actual generic shonen tabletop RPG right now. But more on that another time, because it's in playtesting. If I'm honest, I like the design of Super Saiyan 4, but I dislike the execution. And the prospect of getting a new version of it in the continuity was intriguing. Dragon Ball Super Broly was awesome, and managed to make Broly's Berserker form visually interesting, and the character not insufferable. But what we ended up getting with this had absolutely no build-up, no foreshadowing whatsoever. The elderly Namekian Neva, or Neba as some are pronouncing it, appeared to be the one who unlocked the form for Goku through magic. And while I was initially hyped for monkey form Goku, I wanted to know about this form. I wanted to know anything about this form. Where did it come from? How does it work? Where is the lore? As the few final episodes rolled out, we got exactly fucking nothing. Vegeta didn't say shit, which is probably the most unbelievable thing of all, considering his superiority complex. The only thing we get about this form is that Goku trained really hard and wasn't sure it would work. Seriously? That's it? That's all? So Goku attained Super Saiyan 4 off-screen at some point, and Neva just healed him. Or something. And then he transformed. What the actual fuck? I'm sorry, but that's just not how you tell a long-form story. You've got to plant seeds, lore, fucking foreshadowing in order for big moments like a new transformation to work. This is basic storytelling. It's pretty apparent that Super Saiyan 4 was planned from the very beginning of Daima, and that it was based off of a sketch that Akira Toriyama made when he found out about the form. An interview has since come out that has revealed that the show was intended to be something of a tribute to Dragon Ball GT, and also that they started animating the damn thing before they had a complete story. And that's fine. Dragon Ball GT isn't my thing, mostly because it's fucking boring. And I say that as someone who sat through countless hours of filler material in Z. But you probably shouldn't start animating a show that doesn't have a completed story yet. Just saying. Despite Akira Toriyama basically making Dragon Ball's story up 1 week at a time, he clearly understood this. And what's sad is that all of the ingredients to make Super Saiyan 4 work in this story were already there, plain to see for pretty much anyone. In early Dragon Ball and the chapters covering the Z portion of the story, because the manga isn't separated like it is in the anime, it's shown several times that Saiyan children regrow their tails. Through context clues, I assume this happens during times of stress. And using this example, we could have had new lore about the origin of the Saiyans. Have you ever wondered where the Uzaru, or the Great Monkey transformation, comes from? Why Saiyans seem to be so ridiculously powerful? There was an opportunity to give us an origin for them here. Imagine if we got the story from some ancient tome or some hieroglyphs in the original Namekian world or something that depicted ancient Saiyans coming into contact with demon realm creatures, like the ancient Namekians. Now imagine that the Saiyans were originally able to transform into their Uzaru form at will or with training. Now imagine that these ancient Saiyans nearly wiped out this group of Namekians during a confrontation, and after this confrontation, the Namekians curse the Saiyans, sealing their monkey powers away, only to be unlocked under the strange light of a full moon. Now imagine that to unlock Super Saiyan 4, the curse needs to be broken. And now who could break the curse? Well, how about Neva, or Neba? Neba could have absolutely been the person to do so. And maybe he's unwilling to do so at first given the destructive past of the Saiyans or something. But after witnessing Goku and company's heroics, decides to break the curse for both Goku and Vegeta, allowing them to tap into their primal forms, regrowing their tails, and unlocking Super Saiyan 4 in the process, or something. It's absolutely baffling that with all the lore dumps that we got in the show after all the talks about magic and evil eyes, that there wasn't one writer who could have stepped forward with an idea like this. Something, anything, other than the utter asshole that we got here. For all of GT's flaws, and there are many, at least Super Saiyan 4 was properly built up to in the Baby Saga. Ask yourself, why is Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan, Gohan's transformation into Super Saiyan 2, and hell, even Ultra Instinct in Super so fondly remembered? Build up and payoff. All three examples had a ton of hints and foreshadowing leading up to their epic unveiling. That is why they're iconic. Good storytelling is a bit like sex. Build-up and foreshadowing are kind of like your foreplay, and you need just the right amount to make the climax mind-blowing. If you go straight to a climax with no build-up or foreplay, someone's going to be disappointed. And that person is me. I'm really disappointed in what this show ended up being, and I seriously hope this isn't the last thing that Akira Toriyama worked on before he passed. In conclusion, while Daima is gorgeously animated and has its moments, it's ultimately a serious letdown, and an unworthy successor to the Majin Buu saga, at least the manga version, which has one of the best endings in the whole series in the form of the Super Genki Dama and Vegeta speech. I'm a big eclectic nerd and have a lot of weird interests when it comes to the genres I enjoy. I hop back and forth between shonen, battle manga, cyberpunk, cosmic horror, supernatural horror, and all sorts of other things I haven't talked about on the channel yet. But as big of a fan of Dragon Ball as I am, I'm finding it harder and harder to care about the new stuff coming out. I'm not a huge fan of Toyotaro's work on the Dragon Ball Super manga, and I'm not excited about him being the sole writer, and I'm not a fan of the way Goku has been treated as a character throughout both the anime and the manga's run. He's kind of too stupid to function at this point, whereas in the Buu and Cell sagas he was actually really smart and all of his actions seem to be pretty calculated. And maybe that's okay. Nothing is meant to last forever. Stories, no matter how popular they are, come and go. In order for something to be satisfying, it must have a good beginning, middle, and end. And Dragon Ball got that ending in 1995, not counting the revamped ending that's also quite fitting. Akira Toriyama touched the lives of so many with his works. And it's truly sad that he's gone, but I think the way we honor him isn't by keeping Dragon Ball going forever and ever until it becomes this corporate zombified version of itself. It's by getting inspired to create our own art, to create new things that honor his legacy. The new generation of shonen battle mangakas are doing exactly that, and they've done some amazing things with the genre. Us fans in the US who are creators can do the same as well, assuming we still have the freedom of speech. I guess that's all I have to say right now. If you dug this video, be sure to deploy your likes, comment your favorite thing about Dragon Ball, let me know if you agreed or disagreed with my takes here, subscribe and ring that bell if you haven't, and share this video with someone who loves storytelling content and video essays. I'm Eric Malikyte, and I'll see you next time, Space Cowboy.